Musk's daughter is currently chewing him up on Instagram threads. Let's read. Before we get into it, for those new to the drama, Elon Musk has been going on about how his son, Xavier, is now dead because they became trans and is now Vivian. And this is what Vivian has to say. Elon made this tweet saying Xavier was born gay and slightly autistic, two attributes that contribute to gender dysphoria. I knew that from when he was about 4 years old, and he would pick out clothes for me to wear like a jacket and tell me it was fabulous, as well as his love of musicals and theater, but he was not a girl. Now, Vivian is eating him up on threads saying there's a lot of stuff I need to debunk, which I will get to, don't worry, but I want to start with what I find the funniest, which is the notorious slightly autistic tweet. This is going to be a bit, so just bear with me. Oh, get ready, y'all. This is entirely fake, like literally none of this ever happened, ever. I don't even know where he got this from. My best guess is that he went to the Milo Yiannopoulos School of Gay Stereotypes, just picked some at random and said, good enough, and in a last-ditch attempt to gather sympathy points when he is so obviously in the wrong, even in his own fucking story. I did not have a love of musicals and theater when I was 4 because, you know, I was fucking 4. I did not know what these things were. My earliest real experience with musicals was when my twin brother had a Hamilton phase in 8th through 9th grade and overplayed it so much in the car to the point where for a long time I swore off the entire genre. I never picked out jackets for him to wear, and I was most certainly not calling them fabulous because literally what the fuck. I did not use the word fabulous when I was 4 because once again, I would like to reiterate, I was 4. Like, this is so obvious, I don't even think it warrants explanation, but apparently people believe this nonsense, so here I am. This entire thing is completely made up, and there's a reason for this. He doesn't know what I was like as a child because he quite simply wasn't there. And in the little time that he was, I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness. Obviously, he can't say that, so I've been reduced to a happy little stereotype, blanking along to use at his discretion. I think that says a lot about how he views queer people and children in general. As for if I'm not a woman, sure, Jan, whatever you say. I'm legally recognized as a woman in the state of California, and I don't concern myself with the opinions of those who are below me. Obviously, Elon can't say the same because in a ketamine-fueled haze, he's desperate for attention and validation from an army of degenerate red-pilled incels and pick-me's who are quick to give it to him. Go touch some fucking grass. Someone then replied to Vivian, extremely shocked to hear this D-bag is a liar, hope you're not too bothered by what he says about you, and she said, I'm not, lol. I've just started to find it funny at this point. Calling me dead on a podcast with Jordan Peterson of all people while basically admitting you have zero reading comprehension by saying you were tricked into signing documents that you've read over multiple times is basically a parody of itself. Like, it's honestly camp. Vivian, you are most definitely brat-coded, and we will be seeing you voting under that coconut tree, baby. Get him again for us.
I can expose something that I think is really funny, which is the fact that I suspect when I was like 12, he was bronze in Overwatch, and me and my twin weren't. And he would try to constantly get us to play ranked with him, and I'm like 90% sure it was just because we could carry him. And I was like a 12-year-old Hanzo main who was like barely in silver. He was a bronze Torbjorn main. He was dog shit, awful, like god awful. So no, I don't believe the he's like, I am a pro Path of Exile, whatever like, no, you are not. This is so cringe. Why would you even pretend to be like, it's fine not to be a gamer.
I know.
Right.
Where does that come from? I mean, my suspicion is that it's just like narcissism and he really wants to be liked.
I don't think, okay, people always think he wants to be Tony Stark. No. He wants to be the, what's the name of the CEO from Ready Player One? He literally wants to be that.
Oh,
he made us
so
read
cringe.
Ready Player One when we got in trouble. True story.
Okay. Ready Player One CEO is who he wants to be. Ben Mendelsohn is Nolan Sorrento, the CEO of Innovative Online Industries.
I hate that movie. I mean, it's a like fun movie to watch, but if you think about it for more than 5 seconds, you're like, the messaging of this movie and like the motifs of it are like very bad. We should not be worshiping CEOs. What the colonizing Mars. That's not happening, people. It's a marketing scheme. Do you know how long it would take to colonize Mars? Do you know how long it would take to terraform that thing? It's a marketing scheme that everyone somehow falls for. This is my native language, I promise. That everyone somehow fell for, despite being like debunked by a Google search.
My son is dead. Killed by the woke mind virus.
Elon Musk's trans daughter has hit back against her father over claims he made during an interview with right-wing commentator Jordan Peterson. Misgendering her throughout, Musk said,
I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys. I lost my son, essentially. The reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead.
In a follow-up tweet to the interview, Musk wrote that Vivian was born gay and slightly autistic. He added that when she was 4 years old, she had a love of musicals and theatre, and she would pick out clothes for him to wear like a jacket and tell him it was fabulous. He finished the tweet by saying that Vivian was not a girl. In response, 20-year-old Vivian Wilson, who no longer speaks to her father, published a series of posts on X's rival platform Threads, which is owned by Meta. She wrote, "Last time I checked, I am indeed not dead." In response to her father's post on X, she added, "This is entirely fake. None of this ever happened, ever. I don't even know where he got this from. I did not have a love of musicals and theatre when I was 4, because, you know, I was f***ing 4. I never picked out jackets for him to wear, and I was most certainly not calling them fabulous." She closed the thread by writing, "I'm legally recognised as a woman in the state of California, and I don't concern myself with the opinions of those who are below me." Obviously, Elon can't say the same because he's desperate for attention and validation. Go touch some grass. The musician Grimes, who dated Elon Musk for several years, voiced her support to Vivian. Pink News has reached out to Elon Musk's representatives for comment.
But the interviewer says, "Speaking of some of your family, I feel like right-wingers are actually pretty bad at posting," obviously referring to Elon. And Vivian says, "They're not funny. You have to be funny. Most of them have the charisma of a soaking bathrobe." And then speaking directly about her father, she says, "The Nazi salute shit was insane. Honey, we're going to call a fig a fig, and we're going to call a Nazi salute what it was. That shit was definitely a Nazi salute. The crowd is equally to blame." And then the interviewer asks, "Do you ever feel scared? He's the richest man in the world." And Vivian says, "He's a pathetic man-child. Why would I feel scared of him? Oh, he has so much power. Nah, I don't give an F. Why should I be scared of this man? Because he's rich." And then she says later on, "He owns Twitter. Okay, congratulations." And then finally, speaking about Elon moving far right, that the reason he turned right is because I'm effing transgender. That's just not the case. That's not what it does to people. Him going further to the right is not because of me. Okay.
My older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This was before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. You know, I was told, oh, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison. You know, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. So you know they call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so
Xavier Musk, the 18-year-old child of tech billionaire Elon Musk, has petitioned to change her name to Vivian and her gender to female. This isn't the first time Vivian's gender has been in the news. In 2015, when Vivian was just 12 years old, Elon Musk spoke about his child's gender identity during an interview with Wall Street Journal. At the time, Musk said that Vivian was a boy who identifies as a girl, and that he was happy to support his child's transition.
Celebrities are so prone to having trans kids. Have you noticed that? How do you explain the high concentration of trans kids, quote unquote, in Hollywood? Dwayne Wade, Charlize Theron, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jennifer Lopez, Busy Phillips, the list goes on. It's because they use their kids as status symbols. And there is no way around that conclusion. In fact, even if it happened to be true that a kid could be, quote, trans, and that their transgenderism should be affirmed, and both of those things are emphatically not true at all, but even if it was, it would still be totally indefensible to make your child's gender transition public. There's no benefit to your child in turning this into a public spectacle. If he's on a gender journey, as you say, and if you actually wanted to give him space to be who he is, as you claim, then you wouldn't be crowding the space with cameras and microphones. The only possible effect of the publicity is to set this new identity in place. Now that you've made him into a leader, right, into an LGBT icon, and you've got the endorsement deals rolling in, and there's a lot of money on the line. And not only that, but in Dwayne Wade's son's case, like, he's making all this money. Dwayne Wade doesn't have a job anymore. And so now I guess he's the breadwinner in the family. He's going to feel like he's not able to switch back or detransition or have a change of heart. And that, of course, is exactly why they do this. They are leading their children, it turns out. You know, I wish that Dwayne Wade was merely sitting back passively and following his child's lead. That would be bad parenting, but not as bad as what he's actually doing. Because what he's actually doing is actively leading his son into self-rejection, self-loathing, deeper and deeper confusion. He has taken his son by his hand and guided him straight over the cliff and profited from it the whole way down. It is, again, pure evil. He should be shamed for it and disgraced for it, ostracized from society, arrested, because this is abuse. But instead, all he hears is applause.
I found out about the existence of my half-brother through reddit.com/r/RuPaul's Drag Race.
Elon Musk's trans daughter, Vivian Jenna Wilson, claims she discovered she had a half-sibling on a RuPaul's Drag Race Reddit thread. The 21-year-old daughter of the tech billionaire recalls browsing the Drag Race subreddit in 2022 and stumbling upon a tweet from Season 2 contestant Tatiana. The tweet posted in March 2022 read, "Not Grimes popping out another axolotl." Vivian disclosed that this was during a period of time where she was not in contact with her father's ex, Grimes. Allegedly, Vivian had no idea about the existence of her half-sibling until this moment and had to check the news to verify the information.
Double check it on the news, and turns out it's actually true, and I'm just the last one to find out about it. This is a real thing that happened to me, girl. I found out about my half-brother because of the same parts drag queen.
Tatiana responded to the post writing, "OMG, I'm so sorry, LMAO." This video was posted as a follow-up to another TikTok that Vivian posted a day before, captioned, "Wow, if I had a nickel for every time I found out I had half-siblings through Reddit, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice, right?" This post references the other time that Vivian learned of having a half-sibling through Reddit. In this instance, she saw a Reddit post informing her that author Ashley St. Clair claimed to have given birth to Musk's 13th child. Ashley St. Clair, a conservative political commentator known for her anti-trans children's book, Elephants Are Not Birds, posted an announcement on X that alleged she had given birth and Elon was the father. She said, "I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety." Elon is yet to comment. Naturally, Vivian's revelations have sent the internet into a frenzy, with many expressing shock over the unconventional way she's learned about her ever-growing family.
I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he did.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was
personal
tricked into doing this. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
Elon Musk's dad has just confirmed that he's had a second secret child with his stepdaughter. And trust me, this gets weird. So Errol Musk, who is now 76 years old, married Elon Musk's mother back in 1970 and had 3 children. 9 years later, they divorced and Errol went on to marry a woman named Heidi Besaidenote, who already had 2 children of her own. One of them was a little girl named Jana Besaidenote. Remember that name. Errol and Heidi had 2 children of their own while raising Jana, who was just 4 years old at the time when he became her stepfather. And that marriage ended 18 years later. But then in 2017, the now 35-year-old Jana Besaidenote revealed that she was pregnant and that the 76-year-old Errol Musk was the father. This obviously led to a massive falling out between Elon and his dad, as he was furious that his own father impregnated his stepsister. But now it's just come out that Elon's dad had a second secret child with his stepdaughter back in 2019. And he said, the only thing we are here on Earth for is to reproduce. So the question is, what the hell would you do if you were Elon?